Have you ever felt like people are pulling away, but you're not sure why? Maybe your grandchild doesn't hug you as tightly, or your neighbor suddenly keeps conversations short. It's not always something dramatic. As we get older, we develop habits, little routines that feel normal to us, but to others, they might feel uncomfortable. Not because you're doing something wrong, but because you're no longer noticing how small changes in behavior affect those around you. The truth is, most people won't say anything. They don't want to embarrass you or cause tension, so they stay quiet and slowly step back. This video is here to help. We'll walk through 10 subtle habits many older adults develop that may quietly push others away, and how you can recognize and gently shift them. No judgment, no blame, just honest awareness, and small changes that can make a big difference in how others respond to you and how you feel about yourself. Let's begin. Let me ask you something, quietly honest. When was the last time you really looked in the mirror, not just to glance, but to truly check in with yourself? Because one of the first things people notice, but almost never mention, is when someone begins to let go of their personal hygiene. And it doesn't have to be extreme. It's the small things, wearing the same shirt 3 days in a row, hair that's a little too messy, nails that are a bit too long, or a faint odor that lingers just long enough to make someone step back. You may not think much of it. Maybe you're tired, or maybe you just don't feel the need to fuss anymore. But here's the truth. Those tiny details speak volumes. They say, "I've stopped trying," even if that's not what you mean. Family members won't tell you. Your granddaughter might stop hugging you as tightly. Your son might cut the visit short without ever saying why. They don't want to embarrass you, but they feel it. Taking care of yourself isn't about vanity. It's about dignity. Clean clothes, combed hair, trimmed nails. These small acts say, "I'm still here, I still value myself, I still respect the people around me." And when you carry yourself with that quiet pride, people don't just notice, they lean in. Because energy speaks louder than words. And self-respect is one of the most beautiful things to wear at any age. Let me ask you something, gently. Have you ever said something you believed was just being honest, but noticed the room got a little quieter afterward? As we get older, something shifts inside us. That little voice that once said, "Maybe don't say that out loud," starts to fade. We speak more freely. We say what's on our mind, and sometimes we believe we've earned the right to do just that. But here's where it gets tricky. Honesty, on its own, isn't always helpful. A comment about someone's weight, a remark on how they raise their kids, even a casual observation about their lifestyle can land harder than we realize. We may mean no harm. We may even think we're helping. But to the person on the other side, it can feel like judgment, not wisdom. And the truth? Most people won't tell you how your words make them feel. They'll just pull back. They'll stop calling as often. They'll keep things light, surface level, safe. Wisdom, real wisdom, is most powerful when it's wrapped in compassion. Because when you speak with kindness, people lean in. They listen. They trust you. And they carry your words with them, not because they had to, but because your words made them feel seen, not judged. So next time something rises to the tip of your tongue, pause and ask, "Is this kind? Is this helpful? Would I want someone to say this to my grandchild?" That small moment of awareness can mean everything, because words have weight, and how we use them can either build connection or quietly build distance. Have you ever caught yourself jumping into a conversation before someone's even finished their sentence? It's okay. It happens more often than we realize. Especially as we grow older. We've lived through so much. We've seen patterns repeat. So when someone starts sharing a problem or story, it's natural to think, "I've been there. Let me save you some time." But here's the tricky part. That urge to help can sometimes come across as taking over, and instead of feeling heard, the other person might feel silenced. You may not notice it at first, but slowly, your adult children call less often. Your grandkids answer in short responses. They still love you, deeply, but they're bracing themselves for a one-way conversation. Now let's be clear, you do have wisdom, more than most. But sometimes, the most powerful thing you can offer isn't advice, it's space. Space for them to finish a sentence, to find their own answers, to feel respected, not corrected. And here's the beautiful irony. The more you listen, the more people want to hear what you have to say. When you pause, when you nod, when you ask thoughtful questions, you create connection. You show you're not just the elder in the room, you're the person who gets it. So next time you're in conversation, try this. Instead of thinking what you'll say next, ask what else is on their mind. Because when people feel truly heard, they don't just stay in the conversation, they open their hearts.
Let's be honest, it's easy to get comfortable with our old clothes. That favorite pair of jeans from the early 2000s, the sweater that's been with us through 10 winters, or those shoes that have molded perfectly to our feet, even if they're barely holding together. And while there's comfort in the familiar, there's also a message being sent, one we may not even realize we're sending. Because when clothes no longer fit well, too baggy, too tight, stretched, stained, or outdated, they quietly say, I've stopped paying attention to how I show up in the world. Now, people won't say anything. They'll smile, nod, keep the conversation going, but deep down, they notice. And sometimes, they respond with a little less warmth, a little more distance. It's not about fashion or trying to dress like someone half your age. It's about self-respect. Wearing clothes that fit well and feel good isn't about impressing others. It's about reminding yourself, I still care, I still matter, I still belong. Think of it like this. You wouldn't wear the same outfit to a job interview today that you wore 25 years ago, right? So why wear clothes that no longer reflect who you are now? A clean, well-fitting shirt, a pair of jeans that move with you, a color that lifts your face. These small choices send a big message. You're still showing up, still living, still taking pride in yourself. And the truth is, when you treat yourself with quiet dignity, others do too.
Have you ever noticed the world around you feels louder, faster, a bit more rushed and less polite than it used to be? Maybe you found yourself speaking on the phone in a waiting room, just like you used to do at home. Or playing a video out loud because it's easier than fiddling with earbuds. Or standing close while chatting, without realizing the other person keeps stepping back. These may seem like small things, and honestly, decades ago, they were small things. Back then, no one minded much. The world was more tolerant of noise, closeness, and spontaneity. But times have changed. Today, social cues are quieter, more invisible, and when we miss them, people may not say anything. They'll just move away, change seats, or tune us out. Here's the good news. You don't have to be perfectly modern to stay connected. You just have to be aware. When you lower your voice in public, keep space in line, or use headphones at the coffee shop, you're not giving in to some new trend. You're showing that you still care how your presence affects others, that you're still engaged with the world around you. And younger people notice this, even if they never say a word. They respect it. Because in a world that's often loud and self-focused, someone who moves with quiet awareness truly stands out. It's not about rules, it's about relationships. And sometimes, the most respectful thing we can do is simply notice the space we take up.
Have you ever looked at a teenager glued to their phone and thought, "Back in my day, we actually talked to each other"? Or heard someone younger make a decision and thought, "They have no idea how the real world works"? You're not alone. Every generation looks at the next and wonders, what happened? But here's the thing. When those thoughts start turning into comments, jokes, or casual complaints, something shifts, and not in a good way. Because to the younger person hearing it, it doesn't feel like a wise observation. It feels like rejection. They may not say anything, but they'll remember. They'll hold back. And slowly, they'll start avoiding the kind of conversations where you could have truly connected. It's not because they're overly sensitive. It's because no one enjoys being told they're not enough, especially by someone they love and look up to. But what if you flipped it? What if, instead of saying, "Kids today are lost," you asked, "What's life like for you right now?" Or, "What's something you're passionate about?" That simple shift, from judgment to curiosity, opens doors. And when young people feel respected by you, they don't just listen, they seek you out. They want your stories, your advice, your perspective, not because you insist on it, but because you've earned it. And that, right there, is how you become unforgettable across generations.
Let's be real. As we age, our health becomes a bigger part of our daily lives. Doctor appointments, medications, aches that seem to move around without warning. It's natural to want to talk about it. After all, it's what you're living with. But here's something we don't always realize. When every conversation circles back to pain, procedures, or pills, it can quietly wear on those around us, especially the younger ones. Your daughter may not know how to respond. Your grandson may feel helpless hearing about something he can't fix. So instead of leaning in, they pull away. Not because they don't care, but because it becomes emotionally heavy. Now, this doesn't mean you should pretend everything's fine. Honesty matters. But so does balance. You can share how you're feeling, and also share something that lifts the moment. Talk about the flowers you saw on your walk, the novel that made you laugh, the neighbor who waved at you from across the street. Because here's the truth, people love you, not your diagnosis. They want to connect with your stories, your smile, your spirit. Your health may shape your life, but it doesn't have to shape every conversation. And when you let more of you into the room, you make space for joy, warmth, and true connection. Let's talk about something that creeps in quietly. Something none of us like to admit, but many of us fall into. It's the belief that because we've lived through so much, we must be right. You've probably heard it, maybe even said it. That's just how it is. I don't care what science says, I know what's true. But here's the hard truth. When we start clinging too tightly to old beliefs and shutting down new ideas, we build invisible walls. And without realizing it, we start pushing people away. Younger family members won't argue with you. They'll simply stop bringing things up. They'll avoid deep conversations, keep things surface level, and quietly label you as someone who doesn't want to understand. And that's a loss, for them and for you. Because staying open doesn't mean giving up your values. It means making space for other experiences. It means being willing to say, "Tell me more," even if you don't agree. True wisdom isn't loud or rigid. It's calm, curious, and adaptable. The world is changing, fast. Technology, identity, relationships, even the way people define success. It all looks different now. And when you show that you're willing to listen, ask questions, and learn, you become someone people admire deeply. You don't have to agree with everything, But when you let go of the need to always be right, you create space for connection. And here's the beautiful irony. The more open you are, the more influence you actually have. Because people trust those who meet them with respect, not resistance.
We all love to laugh. It's one of life's best medicines. And if you've lived through several decades, you probably have a great sense of humor. You've seen it all. You've earned the right to laugh at the absurd, the ridiculous, the real. But here's the challenge. What was funny back in the day doesn't always land the same way now. A sarcastic jab, a joke about how men used to be real men, or teasing someone about their looks, background, or choices, even if it's just for fun, can feel like a quiet sting to the person hearing it. You may not mean harm. In fact, you might just be trying to connect, to lighten the moment. But if the laughter dies out quickly, or someone changes the subject, that's a sign. The truth is, the most respected humor today is kind. It's inclusive. It uplifts. And when it comes from someone with decades of wisdom behind their smile, it means even more. Try laughing with people, not at them. Try telling a story that makes you the punchline, not someone else. Because humor isn't just about being clever, it's about being aware. And when you get that balance right, you don't just make people laugh, you make them feel safe, seen, and connected.
We all have stories. Some so precious we carry them like family heirlooms. That trip you took in '68, the way your spouse looked the first time you met, or the moment your child was born. And you've probably told these stories dozens, maybe hundreds of times. But here's the hard truth. When we repeat them too often, word for word, without checking in, people start to tune out. They nod politely, they smile kindly, but inside, they've already moved on. Not because your story doesn't matter, but because they've stopped feeling invited into it. You see, storytelling is a sacred act. It's not just about reliving the past, it's about making space for someone else to feel part of it. So instead of repeating the same tale again, try this. Pause. Look them in the eye and ask, have I ever told you about? Or, better yet, what's a story you've never shared before? Because connection isn't just about being heard, it's about sharing the moment. And when you open space for both voices, yours and theirs, your stories come alive again. Not as old memories, but as something new, shared, together, in the here and now. If you've seen yourself in any of these habits, take a deep breath. This isn't about blame. It's not about shame. It's about awareness. And with awareness comes choice. You see, most of these behaviors aren't character flaws. They're blind spots. Little patterns we pick up over time, often without realizing how they affect the people we love. But the beauty of life is this: you can always shift. Even the smallest change in how you listen, how you laugh, how you show up, can completely transform how others experience you, and more importantly, how you experience yourself. Because aging well doesn't mean clinging to the past. It means stepping into each day with curiosity, compassion, and presence. It means asking yourself, am I still growing? Am I still connecting? Am I still becoming the kind of person I would want to spend time with? And here's a gentle reminder. There are still other little things that might make people uncomfortable, like cutting in line at the grocery store or pretending to be helpless when you're not. But if you've come this far, if you're willing to reflect on these 10 quiet habits and make even the slightest adjustments, you'll be amazed at what changes. Relationships soften, respect deepens,
and your presence becomes something people genuinely look forward to. So here's to growing wiser and kinder with every year that passes, because you don't just deserve to age, you deserve to be cherished. If any of these habits resonated with you, let me know in the comments below. Which one are you working on first? And if this video helped you reflect, give it a like, subscribe for more insights on aging well, and share it with someone you care about. Thank you for being here and for taking the time to care for yourself.